Hello, people. I welcome you to another exciting edition of Unscripted, the one program, of course, where we take a dive into all the major stories that made it on different social media platforms and equally on various traditional media also. But on this particular part, what we do basically that's different from what other people do is the fact that we take on those particular stories below the threshold. So those points that all the legacy stations don't talk about, we get the opportunity of speaking about them. So today, interestingly, we are starting from all that we had from our newspaper headlines. And we started this morning with the Punch newspaper for today, and we had a list of stories here. Like the PCS promotes over 8,000 police officers, AGF to meet Senate panel on tax reform bill today, and gridlock grounds Lagos Ibadan Expressway as driver dies in crash. Less, I was there actually, and I would bring to you all that happened that day. But interestingly, we talked about Ibadan funfair tragedy on his wife. Others face probe as 32 children feared killed. Now, I'd love to start by commiserating with the great people of Oyo State, Ibadan, and most importantly to the families of those children that lost their lives as a result of stampede. Of course, the Oni's wife, as much as she was the one that organized the fun fair, she didn't do it because she wanted anyone dead. She did it because she wanted to put smiles on the faces of children that needed such smiles. And as a result of that, it wasn't carefully put together. And I guess the number of people they were expecting were far more than the people that they provided for. So that, of course, it gave rise to a stampede, which that killed about 32 children that should have had the opportunity of celebrating with their families this Christmas and the New Year. It's very so sad that this is happening. This is not peculiar to us. Remember, our guest, we actually asked him if this was failure of leadership. He said no, things can happen. Remember the Ashake concert at O2 Arena, where there was a stampede and a lady nurse actually lost her life. A Nigerian lady nurse actually lost her life as a result of that stampede. So the UK is a professionally run system, but stampedes equally do happen. And this one for Nigeria is not anything different. But what makes a Nigerian event different from that of the UK is the fact that that of Nigeria would have been avoidable. Most obviously, it would have been avoidable to a large extent. The poverty in the land equally contributed to some of the things that we're talking about. Um, Growing up, I know too well that our fathers, our mothers would always, abuse our minds and our thoughts on the need for us to be so quick to accepting what people give us or be hungry over little things. But because of the gross nature of poverty ravaging everyone in Nigeria, it makes everyone vulnerable, such that even the rich amongst us, would love to struggle for puff puff. I was at a professional association, a very reputable professional association. I wouldn't want to mention their name here because of defamation, but that professional body, you can't believe it, that at the venue of the event, these guys were very well to do. In fact, they packed their cars. You see all manners of SUVs, you know, but right inside the venue, you need to see how these guys rush puff puff of 100 naira and 50 naira. You need to see how professionals that understand better. You need to see the way these guys were rushing puff puff. This actually gets to say that everyone in Nigeria is vulnerable to the very sad economic situation we find ourselves. So if you have freebies, everyone wants to rush to getting it. I sincerely feel that those whose children lost their lives, should be compensated, no matter of resources or amount is good enough to compensate the life of a child, the future of the family. It's good enough for such a compensation, but it will go a long way to possibly making them feel accepted or feel comfortable, despite the situation they found themselves. So I would love to feel that or your state government will do the needful and ensure that the families of those who lost their lives are duly compensated. And at the same time, also, going forward, I love to rather want a situation where events like this are properly coordinated. Even if freebies are given, there should be a tag, not just everyone come collect. And this nature that we have in Nigeria where you ask people to come collect and everybody's rushing to want to go get. It's another issue. And at the same time, I equally love to, if possible, get to advise parents, try to imbibe the culture of contentment in the life of your children. Because if your kids are contented with what they have, then what they do not have wouldn't be so much appealing, which led to the stampede that we had in Ibadan. Once more, we want to commiserate for the life lost. So that was what we discussed on the Punch newspaper. And after that, we went to the Vanguard newspaper also, where we had a series of stories here. One of them is Nigeria Ghana election compared. 7 reasons beavers may never work in Nigeria. That's investigation. Now, this is overflowed. There's no gainsaying that beavers will never work. With the sort of INEC we have, I don't think beavers would ever work in this country. There was a guest we actually had. I think it was Sonny Iwanugu that we had on our show here. And he did talk about prior to the elections that introduced the beavers and all that, there was a clear cut description of how this technology works. People understood it. Journalists that were there to report on the practicality of this technology, of course, gave a thumb up to say, yes, this is the kind of technology we need if we must guarantee a free and fair election in Nigeria. But guess what? Right after that expose, when it was time to conduct elections, the beaver suddenly did not work. Let's take a look at 2023 general election, February 25th, particularly. The same election where a candidate for a particular sect, yes, worked, but when it came to that of the presidency, it did not work. So it is not just about the beavers. Technology is not the problem. But when those who control the technology are not interested in having the technology work, then it's another ball game. I sincerely think, in my opinion, that Professor Mahmoud Yakub had overstayed his welcome with the INEC. I'm not in any way trying to disparage him, but I think that he has overstayed his welcome. Let's have something. Let's have someone better. You know, let's have someone who we think can do the work better. And the complete independence of INEC should be guaranteed. We understand that INEC is funded by the executives, right? But I still think if we must go power to power, if we must compete with the League of Nations, with Ghana, for example, in ensuring that our electoral system is credible enough, then the total independence of INEC, which is our electoral umpire, should be guaranteed. If not, we're just wasting our time and giving the judiciary the opportunity to select for us who would govern us. Right now, our politicians don't even care about the electorates. They don't even care. They don't even care. It's not just about popularity any longer. It's about who has more money. That's why at every election season in Nigeria, politicians are rather busy thinking about where they can make as much money as possible, right? So that they can, determine who wins the vote at the end of the day. So it's not just about popularity any longer. It's rather about who has the most money. And when who has the most money is the center of our attention, then beavers or no beavers, come on, it's just a total waste of time. As much as I can tell you, election in Nigeria is just a total waste of time until those who run these elections understand the importance of credible elections in this country. Now, I think we have overflogged this issue, like I did say before, on the importance of credible election and what that can do to any nation that is serious about growing to the next level. You see, when you have the wrong people in power, when someone who uses his money, who bribes his way to win an election, when someone who comes to say, no, I don't care, my money brought me to where I am. Do you ever think in your wildest imagination that such a person would be a credible leader? Do you think such a person, even if his feet is brought to the fire, do you think he would even care? Do you think he gives a damn about what people say? When he introduces a policy that are anti the people and the people complain or the people protest, do you think such a person gives a damn about what the people talk about, knowing that his money actually brought to the position that he is in? And that is what we're talking about. Until our electoral system is created and curated in a manner and a form where the power belongs to the people and not the money that the candidates have. One of the guests we had here, Sonny Ibadan, of course, did say that in Ghana, for example, while you're walking down the road and a politician, which is SUV, mistakenly splashes water on you and refuses to come down and apologize, what Ghanaians do is they show the politician their thumb. And you know what that means? It means that this is will determine whether or not you will come back. And the politician has no reason than to come back and apologize for splashing water mistakenly on you. That is where election works. In Nigeria, who gives a damn about that? Nobody cares. If Nigerian politicians don't care, they don't care. They feel their money actually gives them the position. So go and cut your thumb. In fact, go and soak it. That's not their business. And do you think Nigeria would grow with such a mentality where we keep having the wrong people, attending the most difficult situations in Nigeria? Right now, most governors today reside in Abuja than in their states that they, quote unquote, said they have won. They reside in Abuja and legislating and, of course, performing functions for their state from Abuja. And you think such a state will grow. And when such a state does not grow, you think the country like Nigeria would grow? We have to start changing our mindset in this country if really we are truthful about growing a nascent, economy and a nascent country, or else we're just totally wasting our time. And if this persists, let me tell you, if this continues this way, a time would come when it will be a dog eat dog. A dog eat dog. And that's when you see politicians going against themselves because they know that the people do not count. Since the money is what determines who wins and not INEC, and then the judiciary, of course, is the next INEC, then a time would come when it will be a dog eat dog. And we wouldn't pray for such a situation. Because if that happens, then that's when we begin to give reasons for the military to want to take over, which of course we do not wish for. But check history. All the military that have taken over their countries is because of the failure of those in power. When those in power feel that their money is what places them in the position of authority rather than the people, that's what gives birth to a military dictatorship or the military takeover, which of course we do not wish for our country, Nigeria. Now, right after that, we went to the Daily Trust newspaper, but of course, where we took a job on the talking point here. We had scores of other stories here. The CBN restricts POS agents to 1.2 million daily transaction, 100,000 naira for customers. Well, I know I did talk about it, yesterday, on the CBN not really. Um not really conscious of what their pursuits are. Today, they're talking about the cash-based economy. That was prior to election, when the APC said they would allow the new note and the old note run concurrently. Today, they're waking up like Godwin and Emefiele to say they want a cash-strapped economy. And what are we talking about? Who are we deceiving actually? And knowing that millions of businesses in Nigeria are in the informal sector, and we're talking about digitizing our currency or digitizing our transactions. I wonder how long that would last. knowing the system that will operate. But of course, that wasn't our talking point. We did talk about the victims cry out as FCTA demolishes 20,432. What a staggering number. 20,432 structure. Do you know what that means? Let's even assume that every structure is occupied by one Nigerian. It means we will have displaced 20,432 individuals in Abuja. Let's assume that every home comes with about 5 persons in it. What it means is that we have displaced close to 100,000 Abuja residents and citizens from their homes. As much as we want to say, yes, the planning of a city, should be done in a particular way, right? Let's equally, not put so much blame on the people. The government is to be blamed to a very large extent. When you see an individual, going to build or erect his house in a drainage system, you know, it is the duty of the government to come, not just to come and mark. At the time the guy is building that foundation, that should be the time you should come for your demolition. That is the right time. Not allowing this guy to put in his money. Remember, when we spend money, it's not just our money, it's resources that should go round. The reason people spend money, right? When I build a house now, it's not just for me. It is meant to help me save money I would have paid as rent. So I would have enough disposable income for other things that would help grow the economy. So when people like me, and we have an aggregation of people like me in millions, save money as disposable income that we put into other things in the economy grows and the economy becomes better. Right? So, but when you demolish a house that had already been built from the money meant for the individual, what you have done is you have totally eroded that money out of the system. There would be deficit in that particular money because that money would have gone into other sectors of the economy. So sometimes I really want to question the quality or the dexterity of our economists in this country. And most of them are working with the government. They're working with the APC. They're working with the government of the day. They don't take a look at some of these little fragments of consequences that, if added together, could really cause the implosion that we have today in this country. So we really thought the staggering nature of difficulty in our country, you think they're all because of the subsidies gone or the floating of the naira? No, it's bits and pieces of some of these issues here and there that contributed to making Nigeria, the place it has become today, where our economy is in shambles. It's actually so very unfortunate. And talking about the budget by Mr. President, but I love to say particularly on what he had um, said, that he was going to reduce inflation from 34.2% to 15%. And even our guest, whom I want to believe is a pro Tinubu, was asking how would that magic happen? How would that magic happen? When you came into the country, you inflated you floated the naira, you removed a subsidy, you increased taxes from different places, asking the Nigerian Port Authority to increase taxes on clearing of goods and so on and so forth. There's taxes in energy, there's taxes in everything. And that drove inflation to what it is. And you say you want to come and miraculously, as a magician, reduce it from 34 point something percent to 15%. Come on, let's stop joking with ourselves here. We're not primary school children. No. Nigerians are very educated to know their left from their right. When you see a country that is moving towards prosperity, it shows from the very beginning. It doesn't just start from the middle. So when the president says he would love to reduce inflation from 34% plus to 15%, we don't too suffer for this country. This country is a joke, really. And this man is just about to finish his first term and already is thinking about the second term. In short, I do not know what to say any longer. Now I know why some people question their parents and asking them, why you born me for Nigeria? Why you born me for this country? See, when your mates they travel, they go born their children for UK and the US. Why allow me come into a country where leaders who are supposed to be at the forefront of greatness are the one rather bringing the country to its knees? Well, we pray for Nigeria and we hope to see a country where the nation will be prosperous. I pray for the seat of the president of the country that one day we would get to see a leader, a true leader with empathy, a leader who understands the plight of the people, a leader who knows that Nigeria, the success of Nigeria is his success, not his success. You understand? The success of Nigerians added together would would make up the success of the country, not the success of myself, my family, and a few of my friends. That's the kind of leader that we want in a country. A country, a leader that will really come to say Nigeria belongs to all of us. A leader that will spend naira and not dollar. A leader that will spend his vacation in the country and spend naira, not a leader that takes the vacation to other parts of the country. A leader that would use our healthcare system, not go to the UK or France for his healthcare system. A leader that would encourage other leaders to allow their children school in the country so they can spend in naira, not leaders that would encourage by his behavior other leaders, right? Other elected leaders to send their kids to Ivy League schools and spend and convert naira to dollar in order to do that. And tomorrow they will say, love your country. Tomorrow they say they want to set up probe to discipline those who spend in dollar while they are the one doing it. Let's stop behaving like ostriches. Everybody they see our nyash, and that is the truth, right? So until we realize that and hope that Nigeria becomes a better place, and that is my desire, that's my prayer. So thank you so very much for your time. I truly do appreciate you. Please do well to follow me and equally share this so that other people would get to watch it. God bless our country, Nigeria. God bless the seat of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And most importantly, God bless Nigerians. I am Henry. We can see you next time on Scripted. Thank you and bye-bye.